your speakers are turned on. So all this considered, let's get to the webinar. During today's session, we'll be discussing about the 3 different pathways of the MIT Zaragoza Master of Engineering in Logistics and Supply Chain Management. We'll talk about application requirements, the program content, job opportunities, and international experience at MIT. You will also hear about the students' experience, as one of the current students is joining us today, so thank you, Paul. And last but not least, I want to let you know that we'll have a Q&A interactive session, so you can use the chat to leave your message and I'll read them at the end of the presentation. So I hope everybody enjoys the webinar. Now it's time to meet our presenters, Marta Romero, Director of International Master Programs at CLC, and Paul Lichtenstein, ZLOG student. So thank you both for being here today. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Shira. So as it was just mentioned, we're having this webinar to talk to you about our different programs. I'm very happy that Paul could be here with me today. I mean, even if virtually, because he's sitting at his apartment and sitting at mine, and so does Shira and all the people that are helping hosting this webinar. He's very busy at the moment because they just submitted their thesis project. They're still making some changes to it, and they need to be ready to present their research projects before the end of the month, and also culminating with the graduation ceremony on June 1st. Paul, if you would like to say just a few words about your person, I mean, who you are, where you come from, and what did you study, and what made you decide to come to this program, that'd be great.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. I'm really glad to be here, talk about a little bit of the program. I'm Paul. Thank you, Cira. Thank you, Marta. I am a Brazilian. I'm agriculture engineer. I have 34 years old. All my background, it's in supply chain. I've been working for 10 years in beverage and food companies in Brazil. I've worked 3 years in AB InBev as a PCP, and 8 years in a food company as a project manager for supply chain and as a planning manager. So I'm here since last year. Okay, now for the last 2-3 months we've been with online classes, and we are finishing our master this month. As Marta said, we are almost delivering the thesis project, and but I'm really happy to be here, and I'll be glad to answer all the questions that you have about Zaragoza, about ZLC, about the program, and why I'm here. So I don't know if should I tell why I'm here, Marta? Yeah. Okay, well, I was working really hard in Brazil, so I thought I should prepare myself with the basics of supply chain. When I found this master, I thought it was really perfect for my career. As I said, I had only experience in food and beverage, and I was thinking to move myself to some different knowledges like pharmaceutical or electronic, different business, let's say like that, and study a little bit more about what is supply chain, what is inside supply chain, with all the statistics and formulas for inventory, financial, strategic. So we can talk a little bit about that today.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, no problem.
So we're part of the MIT Global Scale Network. I don't know if you're aware that we associated with MIT back in 2003. We are actually the center that was pioneered in associating with the Supply Chain and Logistics program. So SCALE stands for Supply Chain and Logistics Excellence. So as you can see, ZLC, so we partnered with MIT in 2003. In 2008, it was CLI in Colombia. And then more recently, so in 2011, the center in Malaysia, MISI, and also the 2 newcomers were the center in Luxembourg and the center in China. So all in all, it's a network. There are 14 educational programs. We have more than 100 academic sponsors. We also have plus 100 researchers and faculty, and over 200 corporate partners in all the centers. The programs that we offer, which are joined with MIT, Sira mentioned them briefly. So we actually have 3 programs. The first one is the full residential program that Paul is actually taking. We have a new program that is being launched this year, which is in collaboration with Malaysia. And we have the supply chain blended program that it's a different path. It combines online courses with courses in Zaragoza. Not this year, unfortunately for them, they were only able to be in Zaragoza, like in the campus, for a month and a half. It should have been 4 months. But since we were all on lockdown since March 13th, they missed on having the full experience of being in Zaragoza. As you can see from the screen, so there is something that is common to the 3 programs, which could be the stay at MIT for 3 weeks. That is for the 3. The residential program has 9 months in Spain, plus the 3 weeks. The program in Malaysia will start with 5 months in Spain, continue with MIT, and then have 4 months in the campus in Malaysia. And the blended program has 5 online courses, plus the 3 weeks at MIT, and then Spain for 4 months. The class that will graduate on June 4th, the class that Paul is in, is the 16th generation. The Malaysia program, as I mentioned, is being launched this year. And the blended program, the students that are on the blended program, we will graduate the 3rd promotion. And this is Zaragoza, so this is our town that we are recently getting to see lately, because I mean, for 2 months we were not able to go outside, only for essentials. So now that the lockdown is being lifted, at least there are not so many restrictions, so at least we can go and have a beer. Zaragoza is not a big city. I mean, Spain is 47 million people, and Zaragoza has 700 people. It's the 5th largest city of Spain. As you can see, it's very well connected with the 4 main cities in Spain, so Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, and Bilbao. And also you can see that you can easily reach the main cities, the main capitals of Europe. The good thing about living in Zaragoza is that it's also a student city. It's the university has many students. And I mean, I can tell you lots of things about Zaragoza because I'm a local, but maybe Paul, you can say what it is like to live in Zaragoza, about living expenses, what you like the most. If there's anything that you don't like, that I don't think so.
I think I'm really suspicious to talk about Zaragoza because I love it, and I think that's one of the reasons why Marta invited me, because I really like living here. And well, Zaragoza is really well located, as you can see in the map. Is you can take a train. It's 1 hour and 40 minutes to Barcelona and to Madrid. So you can spend a weekend there. You can meet Barcelona and Madrid for the weekend. Yeah, that's great. About Zaragoza, well, it's really nice. The weather is, for me, it's perfect. I really like the Spain way of living. Let's say, like, you can go out with your friends for restaurants and bars. You can go for doing exercise near to the Ebro River or near to the Cathedral of Pilar. So it's really beautiful, the city center, and the city is just great. About the costs, I think Zaragoza is one of the cheapest place in Spain for sure, and maybe in Europe. I don't know if you guys have some questions about costs, living costs. I can help that later. But it's one of the best place to live in Europe, and it's really cheap. It's cheapest than Germany, Switzerland, and so it's really great.
Thanks, Paul.
Yep.
So as a center, so these are it's not that we own the whole what you see there. It's one of the facilities, so that's our center. We are a research and educational institute on supply chain management. We moved to these facilities a year and a half ago, and we're very close to the city center. It's very convenient for the students. There's also 4 cafeterias where the students usually go for coffee and for lunch. So it's strategically located, and also this year, since we moved, most of our students got some scooters. They were not very afraid of the Zaragoza wind that is called Cierzo. So we've seen there were no accidents, right, Paul, with the scooters. So yes, I mean, the good thing about Zaragoza is that it's a big city, but it's small in that sense, and it's very safe also. And the center you can reach, I mean, if you take a scooter, maybe in 15, 20 minutes, if you come by bus or by tram, the distance won't be, I mean, this is not Mexico City, so it's very convenient in the sense that you can spend many hours that you would be spending at the center, but then you can go home very easily and within less than half an hour.
And you have the bicycles, the city bicycles as well. So.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so as university, so I mentioned already that we're affiliated with MIT, but we're also affiliated with the University of Zaragoza, which is actually the institution that will grant your degree. So how did this affiliation come into place? It was by chance at an event in the UK many years ago when the rector of the University of Zaragoza met with Joshi Sheffi, who's the director of the Center for Transportation and Logistics. And they decided, okay, I think that because Zaragoza is strategically located and because it's a logistics hub, why not replicate what we have at MIT? So this is how the program was launched, the center was launched. So not only on educational programs, but also on research, because besides the 3 courses that I mentioned, which are on the international masters, we also have a part-time program that is taught in Spanish. We have a PhD program, and we also run executive education programs, both open programs on specific topic like SNOP, for instance, which is a course that has been running for a while now, but also tailor-made projects, courses that we do for different companies. And on the other side, we have the research projects. It is definitely a hotspot for talent. I don't know if you've seen, we've been recognized on the rankings. Before there were no rankings specific to supply chain. So it was very difficult to get us included because most of these rankings were for MBAs. So we've been #1 program for 4 years in a row. Those are the programs in the US, Spain, Luxembourg, and Malaysia. We have also been ranked #4 on Supply Chain Management World. And on the ranking El Mundo, this is a Spanish newspaper, if there are any Spanish students attending today. So we've been ranked #1 for 9 consecutive years. And this is Chris Kaplis. If you haven't met him, if you are taking any of the online courses, you will get the opportunity to meet with him when we're at MIT in January. So he is the executive director of the Center for Transportation and Logistics. And as you can see, well, that's the definition that he gave about supply chain management. So I will just read what he said. So it's the art and science of getting products from where they're made, where you, the consumer, want them to be. If we talk about the specifics of the different programs, so the ZLOG program, this is actually a photograph of this year's class. I guess Paul was sitting on the other. Yeah,
I was in the back. I was in the back.
Yeah. So these are Paul's classmates, and we actually have one of our faculty members. So one of the very important things is the diversity, not only in terms of nationality. I mean, in that picture itself, you can see Mexico, India, Pakistan, Colombia, Spain, who else is there? Ecuador, Argentina, yeah. And our professor is from Cuba. So diversity is important, as I was saying, not only in terms of nationality, also in terms of gender. It is also interesting and important for us that there is different backgrounds. So, I mean, we're not interested in having a class full of engineers, although we will see later that a big percentage of our students come from engineering. And also in terms of what the students can bring in terms of work experience. Full-time means what? Oh, full-time. It means that long days, sleepless nights, long hours.
It is full-time. It is full-time.
It is full-time, and it's also important that you know that you cannot combine it with any other activity. Yeah. I mean, there will be time, of course, for you guys to have fun. It's not like we have you slaves in the center, but really it's a very intensive program. It's a small class size. In this current class, we have 20 students. We're never going to have a big class. That's not our interest. We have a limited number of faculty members and staff who are there to help the students in their teaching, advising, and also with all their academic and non-academic issues. So the class size could be 20 to 25 students, but the good thing is that in the center, everybody knows each other. So Sira, who is in marketing, knows all the students very well. The IT people know the students very well. It's not like a big MBA program where maybe Paul would just be a number. If we ask you, okay, so who are you? You're a number. So that's also important in the sense of community. This is the program structure. So right now we are at the very bottom, so the C term. We started in orientation week. We do either in the mountains or nearby. So we have orientation days where we have team building and career workshops. So we will do some training for resume preparation, for mock interviews, and that will happen once the academic year starts. We have a person who helps the student throughout the academic year on the career path. I mean, it's important to say that, and we will also see it later, that we do not have a placement agency, but this person helps the students. So whenever they have a job interview, to see what would be the questions that they would be asked, and to be fully prepared for those interviews. We will also have at the very beginning preparatory sessions on maths and finance. That would be to refresh. And then of course the program starts beginning of September, end of August, beginning of September. And we divide them in different terms. So the fall term, it's systems and methods. So Paul already mentioned some of the courses. These are going to be the core courses that are going to help you not only with your thesis project that will start during this term as well, but also it will be the concepts and the analytical tools and the skills that you will need for your future professional life. So the courses are there. I mean, we have brief descriptions on the website that you can look at. There will also be some Spanish classes at the beginning. People usually are very happy that there are Spanish classes at the beginning, but then when this week starts, it's like, okay, we're already overloaded at the beginning of the academic year. So Spanish is no longer as important, but I don't think you really need the language in Zaragoza. It's not like many people speak English in Zaragoza, but everybody can go by. Then when we went to MIT in January, so the focus here was leadership and management. There were lots of activities planned for the students. There was case competition. There were talks by faculty members from MIT, not only from the supply chain management program, but from other departments, senior executives in supply chain, different tours in the Massachusetts area. And of course, the most important event that we hold while we're there is the Research Expo, where the students get to present to an audience of executives their thesis work. It's a panel, and you have plasma TVs, and you will have people come and look around, and you can get some tricky questions. You can also get some tips for your project. And sometimes these people are looking to employ people. So this is also a great networking opportunity. And the C term would be more specialization. There are still some courses which are common to everybody, but that's when we use the opportunity to teach our electives. So in order to graduate from the program, you would need to take 2. That would be the requirement. We usually offer between 5 or 6, and the students can take 2. If they're really advanced in their thesis project, and if they're Superman or Superwoman, they can take all 5 or 6. Last year, we did have one student who took them all, and he did very well. So I don't know, Paul, can you just remind me which electives you took?
I had procurement, operations, and the SNOP, the PIBERNIC, right? Yeah, SNOP process.
So as you
I
can
forgot
see,
the name.
Paul took 3. So
yeah, I took 3. Yeah,
it's manageable.
yeah.
Okay, when we talk about experiential learning, is that sometimes when you talk about people who join other master's program and they talk about their thesis project, is that students need to come up with an idea or with a topic to develop and work on a project. This is different for us. We have what we call the THAP program, is the Zaragoza Academic Partners, that we launched back in 2008. As you can see on the screen, these are some of the companies that we've worked with. So these are, then again, multinationals in all the different sectors. The way the process works is that we will get a description of the project from the company during the summer. And when the students have arrived, we will get the companies to come and present to the students. So the companies can either decide, okay, I want to interview these people according to the resume book that we will have prepared. They can also decide, okay, I'm here all day, so I'm willing to interview as many people as interested in the project. Or if these are companies that we've been working with for many years, they know that the people in the class are very talented, and they said, okay, just assign me 2 students. So on the other hand, so in order to, on one hand, satisfy the company, and on the other, the student, we also had the students to rank their projects according to their preferences and have a matching. And then the idea would be to start working on the project as of October and submit the thesis project. Well, the first version was submitted this Friday. Let's hope its final version would be this coming Friday. And then, of course, there will be some more changes additional to that. If Paul, would you like to tell them a little bit more about what your thesis project is all about?
I'm sure. Just complementing what you said about the companies. In September, we received many companies to present all the thesis work that they wanted to work with. So we also had the opportunity to say if we like which one we would like to work with. So this is good, and the company is it's a match. So you like the company, and the company likes you. So it's great. And for example, in my case, I choose all the companies for pharmaceutical business. That's what I wanted to learn about, and I was succeeded. One of the pharmaceutical company chose me, so that was great. And my project is about optimization of inventory in clinical trials. So what we did, it's a Python code, so it's machine learning and all these new learnings in supply chain that I in my case I didn't know how to program, how to do Python, and I learned it during this year, and it's been a great experience. And what we did for this pharmaceutical company, it's we did an optimization of how much and when to send these new drugs studies to the countries, to the patients that are enrolled in these studies. So, for example, one of these pharmaceutical companies are developing a new drug against coronavirus, for example. So they had to treat in many countries, so they still don't know how much to send and when. So every month, every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks, what is the safety stock? What is the reorder point? What is the quantity, and the lead times, the forecast, the demand, number of patients. So all these variables, they are inside the model, and for every new study, they can use our model to calculate and to do simulations, and that's supply chain, right? So it's been a great experience, and it's a good work. If I can share it with you guys in the future, I'll be glad to do it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, and as for career opportunities, so already I mentioned that we are not a placement agency, but we do really help the students during their job search. It is important that you know that a lot of effort needs to be put into the job search as well. Some of the companies will come to campus to recruit. This year, unfortunately, we had only a couple that were able to come in situ, but we also had some presentation by Zoom. The idea is that we have companies that would come and present regularly and who will interview our students. Some of our students have already received job offers from these companies. Some of the students are looking, I mean, they have specifically their interests. And also it's important that when you start with your job search, you look at those companies and those countries where you won't need a work permit. Because some of the countries and some of the multinationals, it won't be an issue for them. But for other companies, they would say, okay, I'm afraid we cannot hire non-Europeans. So this could be on top of the courses on the thesis project, this could be something that you could need time to dedicate on. Then again, so as you can see on the map, our alumni are working all over the place, and we're actually very, very proud of them. The alumni do helps us a lot. In fact, we have one alum who helped in bringing Paul to the class this year. We have another alum who helped bring some other people because, of course, I mean, I can tell lots of things about the program, but who better to give information than someone who's been in their shoes before. What else do we have? Oh, this is Nadia. So Nadia was working in Germany. She's from Germany. She's currently working for PepsiCo in Barcelona. So she's her role is transportation planning process manager. So as you can see, then again, I let you read what she just told us about why she decided to do ZLOG and what she learned about. And this could be the student profile. So as I mentioned before, as you can see, so this is overall our alumni, it's not this class specifically. So 80% come from engineering. Don't be afraid about that percentage. We are welcoming students from all the different disciplines. 10% would be economics and about 10% would be law and business. We had people from all different backgrounds. If you're good, if you have the analytical skills, we don't mind what your background is. We had one of our best students a couple of years back. She studied political science, and her record was impeccable. So she was very good at math, and she decided, why not? This is what I studied. This is not what I want to do in the future. And she's currently working in supply chain. As you can see also, every time that we hold a webinar, I say that we're lacking more women in the program. So I'm encouraging if there's any ladies attending the program today to join us. I'm sure that it will be an enjoyable experience, and there will be so much that you will learn. 12 countries of origin that would be in the current class. The average age is 31. But we say that, okay, this is the average, and it can be also confusing in the sense that we have a recent graduate student who is like 22, 23, who's very mature for his age, whom we admitted because we saw a lot of potential, whom he landed he helped everyone in the class, not just a couple of friends, he helped everybody in the class, and who landed a very good job offer. And on the other side, we have people with more than 15 years of experience that could be related or unrelated to supply chain. So it's a good mix of people. I mean, sometimes you think, okay, if I'm in my 40s, what am I going to do with someone who's only 22? Well, it's a perfect combination because the young people are going to help you refresh concepts that you had long forgotten. And the person who has 15 years of work experience is going to show you, I mean, what's out there and what's work life and what you should be doing and what best practices to be applied. So then again, the average age is 6.5 years, but as I mentioned, so we have people, very young people and more senior people with more work experience.
And Marta, I think I can help you. It's incredible to listen about all the histories, all the experience of with our friends. So we have friends that were working 10 years in Australia. We have friends working in Hong Kong, Philippines, India, in really good companies with great experience. So we have friends working in South America, Central America, United States, and Europe. So it's a mix of experience. And when we are talking about all the classes, we have something to say. So it's really great.
Yeah. In fact, they even had a couple of students talk about their experience, like in their professional life, like running a presentation. And we also had the supply chain club. So we actually have one last seminar this Friday with an e-commerce company in Africa. And we also had SNIP and some, so this is specifically something that the students take on, so for which we're also grateful. Because we have our program and our speakers, but also we encourage students to bring in speakers so that the experience is better for the students. The screen that you're seeing now is about the key days, so just forget about the part on the left on the screen, because that's already over. We are proceeding now with rolling admissions. So we've extended the admissions deadline because of this coronavirus, and mainly because all the embassies are closed yet. So we don't know when the embassies are going to open in each country. So the deadline is June 1st, but we're actually hoping that we can extend the deadline. So if you're intending to apply and if you need a few more days, just let us know, because we think that there will be time. And for European students who will not need a visa, then the deadline would be July 15. Then again, a couple of years ago, we had Spanish students who showed up with his application first week of August. So that's okay, because the program only starts around the second or third week in August. Financial aid, I think that some of you have been already talking to, and we do have a very good financial aid program. We have partial scholarships going up to 80% of the tuition. And we also have a loan which is available that can cover up to 70% of the tuition. And these are the scholarships that we have available at the moment. So we will have to change also the deadlines, because if you go to the website and you see the deadlines, most of the deadlines are for the end of this month. But given that we are extended the deadline to submit applications, we will do the same with the scholarships. So depending on where you're from, you can apply to several scholarships. These are not cumulative. So if you're a woman, you're Spanish, you can apply for this women's scholarship. You can apply for the Spanish candidates. So two of them, Master SE competition and Spanish citizen, you can apply for the European scholarship. So the more that you can apply for, the better. You get more chances of getting it. For the most part, you will only be able to apply for the first one, so the supporting promising professionals. We usually cover 25%. In some cases, we offer 50%, but for the most part would be 25%. And of course, given the current situation and everything that is going around the world, we're offering for this year only 20% reduction in the tuition fee. So that will be applicable of both the ZLOG program and the GSCM program, sorry. And then again, this is, can we see you there?
I am in the back. I'm the tallest.
Yes. Yeah, Paul is very tall. So this is these are his classmates. It's funny because I'm seeing them on the picture, and I feel very nostalgic because we haven't seen each other for over 2 months, although we had the online classes that were run very successfully, and we were seeing each other on those small screens as we can see now. But it's not the same. So we've been missing them a lot. And now that some of your classmates started already leaving, we'll see. I mean, we will have to celebrate somehow differently this year.
Yep.
Then more briefly, so the Global Supply Chain Management Program, it's the same program. The only thing that is different is the stay at MIT. So then again, it could be small class size, it's full-time with international professors. Spain, US, Malaysia will be the plan. So as you can see here on the map, so first you could come to Zaragoza, then to MIT, and then to Malaysia. This slide was sent to us by our colleagues in Malaysia. So most attractive emerging market in Asia, second global competitiveness among Asian countries, and Kuala Lumpur is livable cost of living in Asia. So that would be on the 10th. These are the MISI facilities. I mean, we cannot tell you more about the facilities. We'll be able to tell you more if we get to go once. The program structure, as you see, so it's exactly the same. So the part where the students will be in Malaysia, they will be taking exactly the same courses that the students will take in Zaragoza, so that the program is the same, because after all, the program is granted by the University of Zaragoza and it has to be the same. So the only difference in between the programs could be the location and the experience of living in 3 different continents. And then this is Scale Connect at MIT. So you can see at the bottom on the left, we have our 2 ladies who won the Best Poster Award this year. It was the first time that, that we won. We were very proud of them. They made an excellent job. Of course, there is the dome and a picture of the students who went there on a nice day. I mean, on a nice day because it gets really, really cold, or we get snowstorms while we're there. Regardless, it doesn't matter because it's part of the whole experience. I'm the only one that is grumpy about it because it's cold and it's snowing. For the students, it's really a truly unique experience. I don't remember who that was. I think it's a speaker from Adidas on the other picture. Is it Paul?
Yeah.
Yes.
Director from Adidas.
Yeah, so who came and gave a talk to the almost 200 students over there. And at the bottom, you can see if you're familiar with some of the faces from MIT. So Joshi Sheffi, who's in the center, Chris Kaplis, that we saw already, his coach, Katie Date, who works for corporate, and Josue Velázquez, who is the director of the MIT SCM program. You want to say a few words about your experience over there, Paul?
Yeah, sure. These are really 3 weeks intensive with different people from all the campus. So you have the opportunity to meet them all, and you will have the opportunity to make different activities during this week. For example, a Shark Tank program, like it's a competition to, then you have, I don't know, 1 week for doing a project with different people from other campus, and you do a final presentation. Then you have some learnings. For example, one week with LlamaSoft system, so for network design. So even if you don't have experience on the software, you will have a 1 week of learning. I don't know this year, but this was what we had this year. And 1 week with Python learning, the basic, if you are basics, or if you are intermediate, or if you are the master of Python. And oh, you have all the speakers. So for example, he is the director of Adidas, but we had some speakers from Delta Airlines, from Home Depot, from XPO Logistics, and some others. Some PhDs were talking about what they are studying as well. It was really interesting. And some visitings. We have the opportunity to go visit Walgreens operations. We had the opportunity to go to Dell, a facility of Dell, and AB InBev, a factory of beer as well. So it was really nice. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's it.
Thanks. Yeah, so experiential learning for the GSCM program is basically the same. They have different partners, but as you can see, so these are then again multinational companies. Some of these companies have sponsored projects in all the different centers. Then again, so the difference is that you guys will be working on your thesis project with Malaysia. Even if we start working on the project in October, since you will be delivering your projects end of May, it makes sense to have an advisor and a project starting already with Malaysia. And this could be the commencement ceremony. So the students who would be in this program get the opportunity to attend 2 graduation ceremonies. So it's totally up to you. If you want to attend, just miss it, that's fine. If you want to come to Zaragoza, that's also fine. And don't worry, there won't be overlap because Joshi Sheffi, who is one of our guests during graduation ceremony, comes from the graduation in Malaysia. So it's totally feasible. And we would also be happy if after completion of the program, you could come for the graduation with your classmates on the residential program as well. Then again, the deadlines are the same, exactly the same. And the financial aid, there are also partial scholarships that can go up to 50% and available loans up to 50% as well. And this could be the scholarships which are available. So one which is like the one that we have for the residential program, which is general for all the professionals in supply chain and logistics. We have one which is specific for Asian supply chain professionals. And then again, like we had for the residential program, we have one which is specific for women. This could be the application requirements. So this you can find on GradApply. That's the common platform that all MIT programs use. So you'll need to complete an application form with a statement of objectives. You have to submit your resume, your official GMAT or GRE, or even if you want to submit your SCOX, that's the first online course on supply chain fundamentals, just to make sure that you have the analytical skills needed for the program. The English test, so we can accept TOEFL, IELTS, Cambridge certificate, similar. I mean, if you are not a native, but you've been working in, say, in the UK, in the US, or in a country where you usually work in English, we can consider waiving the requirement. We would also need your transcripts and diploma. 2 letters of recommendation. On the letters of recommendation, we rather have one recommendation from industry and one from academia. If you happen to be out of the educational system for a long time, 2 from work would be fine. If you do not have much work experience, then 2 from academia would be fine as well. And also we included a couple of years ago a video statement. So the video statement, you can record it at your own ease, at ease, in the sense that it will prompt you to respond to 3 questions. You do not need to press the button and reply to the 3 sessions, to the 3 questions. And what's there, it's what's going to be submitted. I mean, you can work on it and rehearse. I mean, what we're looking here is your soft skills. We're not interested in seeing that you're reading from the screen. We're interested in seeing how you act naturally. I mean, we saw how charming Paul was, so we decided to admit him because it was a good complement to his application materials. I mean, if you're nearby and you can come to the center, that's something that we also prefer. We had during this past year people who are attending, who are interested in enrolling in the master. So we told them, okay, you're in Spain or even you're in Germany, why don't you come to Zaragoza, meet us, attend the session so that you can see the dynamics of the class, you can talk to the team, and also you can talk to the students, which is also something that the candidates would like to do. Actually, I know that some of you are already talking to Karen and alumni about the program, which is also something that we recommend, as I mentioned, because they've been doing this program before you, so they will have tips. And they're usually very blunt, so they will tell you what's good about the program, but they will also tell you what there is room for improvement. So in that sense, they're not just going to tell you what you want to hear, but they will tell you what they really think about the program. This is just the page for where you will need to submit your application on GradApply. And this is Joshi Sheffi. So Joshi, as I mentioned, he is the director of the Center for Transportation and Logistics. He's the mastermind. He's the one that created us back in 2003. And then he associated with all these other scale centers with all these new programs. And we're happy that because our program's been working so well for the past 16 years, every time that he comes up with a new program or a new idea, the first center that he is going to go for is going to be Zaragoza. And we're hopeful that that's going to be, if he comes up with a new different program, that he will do the same. I mean, he did it with a blended program, and we will be happy that we're graduating our 3rd generation already. So then again, so this is something that he said. He's very eloquent, and he's also one of our speakers here in Zaragoza for the advanced topics in December. And of course, you will get to see him and listen to him in January at MIT. So he said that today's multinational companies have operations that span the continents and are becoming more global in our reach. Our scale network mirrors this structure. We are preparing students to perform in the highly demanding global environment that now defines the business world. And more briefly, because now there is no time for you to apply for this academic year for the blended program because we only have 2 deadlines. So as mentioned before, so 5 online courses, 3 weeks at MIT and 4 months in Spain. Just so that you know, that in order for you to complete the 5 online courses and the comprehensive exam, it can take up to from 12 months to 18 months. Each course has 12 weeks of course preparation and classes. If you're working and taking the courses at the same time, it's most likely that it will take you around 16 months to complete. And then you can, of course, apply for our blended programs, and that will include the 3 weeks plus the 4 months in Zaragoza. So the structure then again would be the same as for the ZLOG program in the B and the C term. And what we will do is the A term will be those 5 online courses that you will take online. This is the student profile of the blended program. So it's a bit of a senior class. We have some students who are being sponsored by their companies to come and study. The difference between the students in the blended program and the residential program is that the students on the blended program, for the most part, will have to come up with a thesis project. So, excuse me, sometimes it will be a project with their company. Sometimes it will be just a topic that they're interested in researching on. And sometimes if we have more projects on the academic partners, we can allow those projects to be picked by our blended students. This was the case this year. So actually 2 of the projects are TAP projects, but you would need to submit a proposal about the project that you would like to research on. The profile, as you can see, well, we're lacking more women than even on the residential program. And it's a bit more balanced in terms of the different backgrounds. So 63% are engineers, 19% business economics, 12% are other, so all combined, and 6 who have come from finance. And this is David. So David came to the program last year. He's from the Czech Republic and he's working for Leica in Switzerland. So he was actually sponsored by his company. Then again, as I did with Nadia, I think that you can read why he came to the program and what he thought was the greatest fit for him and why he decided to come. Okay, for the fast readers. Career opportunities, well, then again, the same. That doesn't change. It will be the same if the students are going to be with us and our recruitment process starts right when we come back from MIT. So everybody will be included in the recruitment process. So residential, GSCM program, and blended students, everyone who's looking for a job, we will take care of. We will listen to what the needs are, what your expectations, what your wishes are. Where would you like to go after the program? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And work with you on a career development plan. So as I mentioned, for this academic year, we're done. But if you already started taking any of the courses and you're thinking that, okay, I'm going to complete the program and apply next year. So just bear in mind that the first round deadline will be November 1st. And we also do some activities. So as I mentioned, it's intensive, but there's time for us to meet as a family. That's important for us, so that we do things together. There was a running team this year. Paul, do you want to mention what we did at the beginning of the academic year?
Yeah, so it's the red jacket picture, VRZLC red jacket picture this year. So we went to this place. It's a sports place. Was managed by Marta and Sira, and it was really good. We play paddle, which is I don't know if you know, guys. It's a kind of a tennis in a small court. I didn't know in Brazil we don't have paddle, and we play soccer, football, and it was really great time. And we had a lunch together, so we could meet everyone in ZLC, so that was great.
Yeah, so it was a great event because everybody was there. So not only the students on the international program, students on the Spanish program, the whole staff, and the faculty members. And there's also a picture of a Christmas celebration that we had, and also another picture similar to what we did with the current class in a different place 2-3 years ago, I think. And this could be it from us. So now we're ready to take any questions that you may have.
So hello again. Thanks for the presentation. Let me check the chat. We are going to proceed now with the Q&A interactive session. So remember all of you that you can use the chat to leave your message and I will read them to Marta and Paul. So we have received several questions related to coronavirus situation. So I'm going to read them in a row, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So first one, will ZLOG offer classes online this year? In India, the conditions are becoming worse. In case I cannot travel to Spain, what would be the procedure to start the program? What happened if I cannot travel to Spain in August? Would you keep my admissions for the next year? The last one related to coronavirus, considering this year 2020-21, what part of the course will be online? What will the program calendar tentatively be?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's a lot of questions, so I don't know if I will miss answering any of the questions. So the idea is to start the program as planned. So probably not mid-August like every year, but the third week of August. The idea is that for those of you who need a visa, I mean, there is no way that you will be able to come at around the time that we start the program unless the embassies really do a very good job. We've seen in the past that depending on the country where you come from, sometimes it could take up to 2 months for the visas to be delivered. So we are hoping that given that there is going to be a bottleneck, that they are going to process all these requests faster and won't spend as much time as they usually do. And we're also hoping and thinking, okay, the economy needs it, so let's allow these people to come to our program because that's going to be income for the country as well. That being said, we will start with the classes. So whomever can make it to Zaragoza in August, we will have the classes there. And then we will have the rest of the people who cannot be in Zaragoza join online. I mean, as someone mentioned before, so India, it will depend. So it will really depend on when the embassies and consulates are opening in the different countries. So classes will be online and that won't be an issue given that we had to switch into online education in a matter of one day this year. So we've done it and it's worked. And we will try to get the students come on campus as soon as possible. We also have one person in the team that helps the students with visa and with calling the consulates and the embassy. So we will try to speed up the process as much as we can. But it's not going to be like we usually have, so have all the students arrive by August 15th. So now we'll depend on the embassies, but the idea is that periodically and depending on the country where you're from, you will be able to come naturally. Good thing is that if you're from Latin America, you won't need, you can come on a tourist visa. And once you're in Zaragoza, you will be taken to the Foreign Police Office to transfer this paper into a student visa, because that will allow you also to travel around the Schengen countries, and it will be like the official paper that you need to stay in the country while you're studying. So that's a good news if you're from Latin America, because the minute that you can jump on a flight, you can come to Zaragoza on your tourist visa. I don't know, am I forgetting something, Sira?
Let me check the procedure to start the program. What happened? They will start online. So would you keep my admission for the next year? I'm not sure if you replied to that.
The thing is that we can only grant up to a certain amount of deferrals. Otherwise, everybody would want to defer for the following year. So we will look at your file very carefully and let you know, okay, if you do not come this year, unfortunately, you will have to reapply next year. Or if we think, okay, yes, understanding your circumstances, we understand, and we will keep the deferral for next year. So this will be on a one-on-one basis.
Okay, thank you very much. Another question, is the offer of the 20% discount available on all your master degrees?
On the ZLOG and GSCM program only.
Okay. If I want to combine with an MBA from EBS in Germany, what is the application procedure and the tuition fees?
Okay, so for the tuition fees, you would need to check with EBS their current fees because maybe they've changed them as well. We will keep our 20% offer, of course. The way we work with our partners for the dual degrees is that we share application materials among the institutions, but the admission processes are completely separate. And that means that you may be admitted to ZLOG, but not be admitted to EBS or the other way around. If you're admitted to both, you can decide to start with us first and then with the program in Germany or the other way around. But the application materials, understanding that it takes a lot of time to complete an application and process, we share those materials. In case we need additional materials, then we will let you know. In case EBS requires any additional materials, they will let you know as well.
Okay, thanks, Marta. Arijit from India said that is it possible to extend the deadlines for scholarship application?
Yeah, I already mentioned that we will extend because since we are extending the deadline for the admissions, it makes sense to also extend the deadline for the scholarships.
Okay. Obung from Dubai, he has two questions. As I'm not European, how long will I be able to stay in Europe after finishing the program for job seeking? If you want, reply to that one and I will ask you the second one.
So for job search purposes, you'll be able to stay for an additional year upon completion of the program.
Okay. Second question is to Paul. So there is a fee for joining this program, plus we need to leave our job, which will cost us 1 year's salary as well. Do you think what will be the return on your investment? Sorry if these are already mentioned, I might have missed.
Oh, that's a tough question. I think everything depends what you are planning for your life. You are planning for staying in Europe, or you want to move another country, or you want to stay in the same company and just to be promoted in your own company. I don't know. Myself, I'm looking for maybe stay in Europe, maybe stay in Brazil. I'm still making this tough choice. What I can say that even with coronavirus, I'm doing some interviews and there are companies interested in my work. And well, for the Brazilian currency and with the salary in Europe, it's really interesting because the currency is not that good. So, but it makes sense what you're planning for your life. If you want to stay in Europe, if you want to start your life in Europe, or if you are from Europe, if you want to live in Spain or if you want to live in Germany, all depends of what you want. But what I can say, there are really good companies that they are looking for supply chain people and with interesting jobs in network design, projects, as project managers, as planners, analysts, operations managers. So it depends what you like. And the positions are available in the companies, but it depends of what you want. It's really difficult to say if it's going to makes 1 year, if you can come back this money for 1 year. Depends of your currency, how much you earn in your currency, in your current job. So I don't know if I answered that. Sorry.
If I must, I would just add that the salaries that our students get are very competitive. So it will also depend. I mean, we don't like to give any figures because it's really very confusing as well. Because some people who go to work in Switzerland, they can make up to 200,000 euros. But if you compare to maybe what someone in Ireland makes, that could be half. But probably, well, we know for sure that the person who's in Ireland has a better life than someone who's in Switzerland. So that's also something that you will need to work on. It's comparing and using crystal ball for how much the jobs pay in each country, what are the taxes, and so on. But all in all, the salaries are very competitive, and you get an exponential change in what you were earning before. And it will really depend also. If you go back to your country of origin and let's say that you're from India and that the salaries are not that high, it's going to be big. It's going to be really big. So the return of investment it's there.
Yep. So
Okay.
there are really good jobs in Germany, Netherlands, Scandinavia, and Switzerland, in Spain as well. So depends what you want. But the background that ZLC gives you is really great. All the companies knows ZLC University and these masters, so they will look for you.
Thank you very much. So the next question, do applicants need to provide the IELTS or TOEFL score even if the language of instruction in their previous study was English?
No, that will be waived.
Okay. This is Samuel from Nigeria. It's a great presentation. Thank you, Samuel. But my question is, what are the chances of foreign students like me accessing with loan to loan of study, and how is it paid back?
But the chances, I mean, I'm not sure I understand your question. I mean, as I mentioned, so we welcome applications from all the different nationalities and background. So what are the chances of being enrolled in the program? We will have to look at your application first and then see how we can take it from there. As I mentioned, if it's regarding the tuition, unfortunately, the African scholarship has already been awarded, but there is the professional scholarship that you could apply for, and you can also apply for the loan which is available. And I didn't mention before, but the loan, you will only have to start repaying it after you graduate from the program.
Okay, thank you. Thukisani asks, what marks should one aim for in MicroMasters to be able to apply for the blended masters? So
Okay,
what
so
marks?
When we look at the scores before you apply for the blended program, we're hoping that you would have 80% in each of the courses, as well as on the comprehensive exam, 80% of above.
And is the blended, Alexis asking, is the blended program easier or less intensive than the others?
Well, it's different because ZLOG is very intense in the sense that it's 10 months, but also if you're taking the MicroMaster and you're working at the same time, I guess that it's going to be very intensive as well if you need to combine both work with education. So I think that both are pretty intensive, and I don't think I'm helping you much with this with this answer, but both are very intensive.
Thank you. And Momen asks, when do the enrollment results for the residential and the blended programs will be announced?
Okay, so if you are asking about the blended applications that we received on May 1st, they will be communicated this week. If you apply for ZLOG or GSCM only, we will try to get back to you very fast. If you apply to more centers, then all centers communicate the decisions at the same time, so it can take 2 to 3 weeks to get back to you. Given that we're already May 19th, I think, we will try to speed up the process as much as we can.
Okay, thanks. Tukisani, do you recommend applying for both residential and blended program?
Yes, why not? If you have completed the 5 online courses and you have the accreditation, the more chances that you will get.
And Samuel is asking if there is any special support for African and third world countries to benefit from this program. You mentioned the African scholarship before, and he's also asking if there is any African scholarship, when does it start?
So, okay, it could not be for this academic year because it was already awarded. But first you need to be admitted to the program in order to be able to apply. So that would be for the next cycle. And then you will have time until the spring to apply for the scholarship if you're admitted to the program.
Okay, thank you. Another question, what all companies come on campus to hire the students? I guess that he's asking about which kind of companies come on campus to hire the students.
Yeah, so the companies are, for the most part, are the companies that are already sponsoring projects. In some of the cases, some of the students who are working on a specific project to get hired by the company. It doesn't mean that happens every time, of course, but sometimes we've seen the cases. But we have some multinationals in the different sectors. So Paul mentioned pharma, we have chemical companies, we have retail, we have consulting firms. That do come. The companies can either come on campus and present their companies and the roles that they have available, but they also send us by email the job descriptions of different positions that they're looking for, and that they think, okay, if we circulate them among the students in the MIT Zaragoza program, there are bigger chances that we can find the person that we're looking for to join the team.
Okay. And the last question from Janina Pacheco. How long does the entire application process take?
I mean, it really depends. I was talking earlier on to a candidate who said, okay, I don't have the recommendation letters. I only have one recommendation letter. Do I have to wait to submit my application? No. I mean, so if you're thinking about applying for this academic year, don't be worried about, okay, it's only 10 days. The main thing is that you upload all the documents that are required and that you have specified a clear statement of objectives about why do you want to do this master's and what do you expect. It's easy. I mean, it takes time because you need to gather all the application materials and it can take time. But if you're missing an application material, you can email me. And then if it's something very important, like it would be the GMAT or the GRE, we can even talk about a conditional admission, granted that you take the GMAT whenever it's possible and that you have a good score, but that you can already start in the process.
Okay, thank you very much. We don't have any other question on the chat. So thank you both for being here today, and thanks everyone who joined us today for this webinar. Marta, Paul, do you want to say something before we?
If someone wants to reach me out in LinkedIn, feel free to ask me anything you want about Zaragoza, about the living here, about the course. So I'll be available to ask future questions. Okay.
I think he'll be available after 1 week, right?
Yeah, this week I'm kind of busy, but probably in June.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. And thank you all for attending our webinar. We hope that the information that we provided was helpful to you. If you have any questions, you can send them to me either to the admissions account or to my personal account. I see some familiar names of people who I've been talking to already. And for any questions, just drop me an email if you want to have a Skype call or a Zoom again, or whichever other platform that we're currently using, we're more happy to do so. So please stay safe wherever you are. This is also important for us. And talk to you soon, and hopefully see you out there in that classroom in a few months. Thank you again.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.